The pineal gland is a part of the body that until recent years had been little studied but long revered. For example, the Hindu attached mystical importance to the pineal, referring to it as the body's third eye. Of course, we know that's the first eye, okay? And in a sense, that's what it is. The pineal gland, which contains pigment cells similar to those found in our eyes, is light sensitive and reacts to periods of light and dark transmitted to it through our eyes. The pineal controls the body's biological clock, the internal mechanism that tells us when it's time to sleep and when it's time to wake up. Sometimes it says, but the pineal regulates more than our sleep pattern. It regulates the rhythm of life itself. The pineal gland manufactures and operates through a hormone called melatonin. They're saying melatonin. I don't know if that's, yeah. Melatonin is instrumental in establishing our daily rhythms from infancy on. Expectant mothers pass melatonin to their developing babies through the placenta. Although infants don't manufacture their own supply of melanin until their third or fourth day of life, melatonin is present in breast milk. Melatonin levels peak during childhood. During adolescence, melatonin levels drop, triggering a rise in other hormones, which in turn signals to the body that it is time to enter puberty. As we age, our melatonin levels continue to decrease, and with the steepest decline occurring from about age 50 on. By age 60, our pineal glands are producing half the amount of melatonin they did when we were 20. Not so coincidental, a melatonin level drops, we begin to exhibit serious signs of aging. For reasons that we will explain later, we don't even. When the aging clocks begin to show signs of aging itself, it signals to other parts of the body that it's time for them to grow old. You know, I just want you to understand what the importance of what they know about this melatonin. And from the table of contents, they're talking about this melatonin is the nature's age reversing hormone. They call it the melatonin miracles. It's finding the aging clock, the pineal gland, the third eye, growing young, nature's disease-fighting hormone, the immune system, nature's own bodyguard, a powerful protector and treatment against cancer, melatonin for a strong heart. All of this, I'm just telling you that this is a miracle drug for them. The first P-I-E-R-P-A-O-L-I. Okay? And so they know the wonders of this. And don't think they're just getting this. Where do you think they're getting this from? You know? You see the melatonin pills, you see the... Don't be shocked at where you think they're getting this from, okay? And they know what it does for them. So, you know, we don't know what it does for us. See, so... Okay, now I want to talk about the, we just talked about the, okay, I want to show this one here. What did he do with this one? Universe, okay? And what happened is, and under that falls the element of water, and it represents the soul, darkness, those things that are hidden, okay? And the signs that pertain to it is Cancer, which is the cardinal sign. I have the cardinal sign on the top of this little table because the cardinal sign is the one that's going to demonstrate the royal energy. Okay, and this is the reason why I put Cancer up here, which Cancer is ruled by the moon, and it is talking about the emotional. But when we put all the water signs together, is when we get the queen, when we get the mother. You understand? When we put all the water signs together, which will be Scorpio, which is ruled by the planet Pluto. Pluto is our power point. That's the regenerator, the transformer. You see, and then we have, that's why Scorpio is always about intensity, you see, because it has to tear down in order to rebuild. And then we have Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. Okay? And those three signs represent that water element. And also the feminine emotions. It's the negative energy. Negative is not bad, you guys. It's just the feminine. Okay? And which equates to the black mothers. Okay? And then the next in line is the prince, not the king, but the prince. Mother comes first, and then she birthed forth her son, which is the prince. I have Horus down here only because he has been identified as a son, you know, rather than Saturn, because when it was in the Saturn configuration, that's when he had grown into the father. Okay? So Horus, and as you can see, the sun, actually the S-U-N, sun. Okay? And that's the fire element. The fire element, which represents divinity, light, the illumined. And those signs are Aries, which is ruled by the planet Mars, you know. And Aries, of course, is the cardinal. And then Leo, which is the fixed sign here. The sun is the ruler of that energy. And Sagittarius, which is the mutable energy. Okay? And that's ruled by Jupiter. And then we're looking at the masculine, the ego, and the positive. Okay? And we're looking at black suns. Now, my son drew this for me, okay? And I asked him, I said, well, why is it that suns is capitalized here? You know, why all of a sudden everybody else, you know, I said, he said, I didn't even really think about it when I did it, but it must have been a subconscious thing, but, you know, I guess all the black suns can applaud that anyway. So, and then, okay, so the newt or the queen birthed forth the son or the prince, okay, and who grew into the father or the king, okay, which is, I have Set Osiris, okay, and the planets. And that's the earth element. And that's crystallization. Also, it represents karma or the alchemy process, because Saturn, this is how they was able to give Saturn this bad name, this Satan image, is because Saturn is the limitator, the restrictor, the one that's going to challenge you, you know, because the earth is under a ray called harmony through conflict. In other words, we bring out the best from the conflict, you know, that we undergo. And that's what Saturn brings to us. It brings a test to our character, which brings out the best of who we are. Okay? And so crystallization, karma, alchemy, all that will represent under the father energy, the disciplinarian. Okay? And then the Capricorn energy, ruled by Saturn, is, you know, the cardinal sign for that. Taurus, ruled by Venus. Virgo, ruled by Mercury. These are the earth signs. Sensitivity and polarity. Polarity of the black fathers. Okay? And then it was the Saturn, which I established earlier, was the creator of the earth, or the father energy of the earth. It brought forth the daughter, which is the earth. Okay? Which is the princess of that royal family. You know, the stars, and that's the air element. Okay? And that's the spirit, enlightened, inspired. Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is the cardinal sign of the air element. And we have Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, Gemini, ruled by Mercury, the other two air signs. And that represents duality and the knowing. And it represents balance, you know, for the black daughters. Because that's what the earth is going to do. It's going to balance the universe. See? It's going to balance the universe. And then what happens? That daughter, or that princess, what? Becomes the queen. And that's completion. That's the cycle. And that's how that cycle continues and continues. That's creation. You see? That's creation. You know? And that is us. That is us and our energy. This is our energy. Ooh. It's kind of unsteady up here. This is our energy. This is what we have to Realize that succession, you see, from the queen to the black mothers, from the prince to the black sons, to the king, from the kings to the black fathers, from the princess to the black daughters, you see. That is us. And once we start understanding, see, we make a grave mistake when we only look at our own sun sign. Because then we're not identifying all those energies, and then we don't understand how to use those energies, you see. I'm a great proponent of rituals, you know, setting up your altars, doing your rituals, you know, and the reason we need to be doing these rituals is because it will get us adapted to the cycles of the energies, you see. And once we become adapted to the cycles of the energy, you know, it becomes just ingrained, and then we don't need the rituals anymore. It becomes a mind thing. It's when we get sensitive to those energies, we can mentally, you know, activate whichever energy we need to activate to accomplish our purpose, you see. But we have to be sensitive to those energies. And that's by understanding the best way is by understanding these signs, all of them. Understand what their elements represent. Understand, you know, what their modes are and how to use that in conjunction. And then when you look at your chart, you know, you can figure out how to balance your energy. You know, if I'm too practical, too stable, I'm using too much of my earth, okay? And I want to balance it with the water, which is the opposite element of the earth. So I want to become more emotional. So I'll look at the water element in my chart. I'll identify that and see what I need to be, you know, dealing with in order to balance the too much of the stability that I got going on in my life. And it's the same with the fire, because the water is the opposite of the earth and the fire is the opposite of the air. So when you're too enthusiastic, you know, too impulsive, you see, you want to balance it with some air, which is mental, okay? The air is mental. Earth is practical or sensitive. Fire is our passion. And the water is our emotions, okay? For Mother Earth, it's the air, and the earth, the fire, and the water. For us, it's our emotions, our passion, you know, our sensitivity, and our mentality. How do we think? The only thing is that this energy does not activate until we use them all together. All, what did I say about our wholeness, our fullness? You know, and if you leave one out, you're not full, you're not whole, you're not sacred, you're not operating under the spiritual principles, and that is not going to activate the energies for you. You have to use all the energies. You have to use all the elements, okay? You know, to be in wholeness and fullness and be able to empower yourselves. You know, what I'm speaking is a message of empowerment. That's what time it is. That's what age it is. You know, it's time for us to empower ourselves by understanding these energies so that we can activate these energies to accomplish our purpose, so that we can balance ourselves, thereby contributing to the balance of the earth, thereby contributing to the balance of the universe. See? That's how far our reach is. White folks have a glass ceiling. You know, they give us one on a physical, but they have one on a spiritual level. Their powers do not rise outside of the Earth's atmosphere. You know, ours go all out into the universe, you see. And so what we have to understand that duality, as above, so below, that everything that's happening on a physical level is also happening on a spiritual level, but in its opposition. In its opposition.